From our first episode, one of the responses from a good friend of mine is that we needed some better looking models for this thing. So we finally get a female on here, and it takes off as our number one.
And the meter goes up, right? Yeah. Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. I'm Steve Glenn.
I'm Paul Glenn.
And this week, Paul, we've got a lot of fun talking about the best travel deal of the year. This one you better take advantage of. Because we've been doing this how many years? A long time, 38 years.
30 plus years.
And I still think this might be the best deal that I've seen.
I've never seen this before. So yeah, it is definitely something that if it might be of value to you, you want to jump on and take advantage of it.
Every week we put out a YouTube podcast on all the channels, the Spotify and all those. And this will show up every week. We launch these on Tuesday with our weekly travel alert that goes out with 100,000 people. And if you're not getting that right now, we hope you'll sign up at executivetravel.com. Of course, Executive Travel is our host. Paul's the CEO of Executive Travel, and I'm the chairman and chief visionary officer. Paul always snickers a little bit when I say that. It basically means they set me up in a room and say, stay away from us.
You can do your dreaming, but let us vet it out from there.
We also are joined with Ryan Swihart. Ryan's a great help, and also sometimes he'll join in on the questions. He also helps read some of our mailbag and presents questions as we go along. Well, this week on the Weekly Travel Alert, the first headline, it reads, "Hurry is the best travel deal of the year, ends in the next few days." Paul, the Southwest Airlines has a program called the Companion Pass. That pass, if you sign up for a Southwest credit card, they have one that you pay $69 a year for. You get a free companion pass for the whole year, the next 12 months. And all you have to do is sign up for the card, spend $4,000 in the next 3 months on that credit card, and you get a free companion anywhere you book a ticket. Along with you can bring another companion. You have to pay taxes of like $6 or $10,
and there is a $69 annual fee for the card.
For the credit card.
That's something. But the return, if you're going to be able to take advantage of this and have a friend or spouse or whoever travel with you, it adds up really quick. So,
and just think if you had 6 trips a year, go to Phoenix 6 times a year.
If you're a snowbird.
Yeah, if you're a snowbird, and you spend $400 a ticket, you get 6 free tickets times $400.
Value.
Even Ryan can figure that's $2,400 of savings. And if you're a business person, my goodness, and you're traveling every week, take 50 weeks times 400. That could be a $20,000.
And we've seen that actually. We've had events where we'll fly in clients and have vendors or whatever come in. And I remember a handful of years ago, as we had a new client on board, he had the companion pass, and so he brought his wife down.
Sure.
She got to hang out and relax in San Francisco was the trip that we were on for that one, and so she got to explore during the day while he was in meetings, and what a great opportunity for her.
And why Paul and I think this is the best travel deal of the year, historically, to earn this pass, you'd have to spend tens upon tens of thousands of dollars. You'd have to be on like 120 segments.
I think 135,000 qualifying points.
Oh my goodness. So you'd have to spend a lot of money to do it. So this is the first time you pay $69 for a credit card and spend $4,000 in the next 90 days when you get it. And you qualify, and you'll be taking a companion around the United States. The next item on this week's Weekly Travel Alert reads, American Airlines is making it more difficult to earn frequent flyer miles. Paul, a week or so ago, American came out and says, hey, we're going to make it tougher to earn frequent flyer miles. Certain basic economy fares may or may not qualify for it. If you have to buy it on their website or not on their website, it's all confusing of what's going on. But the reality of it is they're making it more difficult for the consumer.
It's confusing.
It's
definitely
confusing.
consuming. And it's to the point where I've seen some things in the last week that there's some actions going on in Washington, D.C. trying to slow down what Americans trying to do because it's not necessarily in the best interest of the consumer for the long term. But going back to the previous story, it's brilliance by Southwest putting this offering out because you've got people being confused by what American's doing. So it's a great opportunity for Southwest to say, well, let's get them on our airplanes and let's keep them here.
You bet. Southwest competes a lot with American out of Dallas and Dallas Love and
Chicago,
Houston, Chicago, and a lot of those places. So along with that, at the same time, American announced they were going to raise baggage fees when you check in a bag. They're going to go from $35 to $40. And the second bag's going to go up to $50. And then guess what happened just a few days later? Kind of like the domino effect. Once one airline does one thing, another one does another. And United fell right in line. And they said, well, we're going to do this too. So what does that mean for American Airlines? You know, the big three in 2023, Paul, raised $7 billion in revenue from baggage fees. Think about that, $7 billion. And so this is just another way that they're trying to raise those additional revenues. And I can understand
$7 billion becomes $8 billion
Yeah.
when you increase it by about 10, 12%.
You bet. And next week, we're going to show you ways that you can get around paying baggage fees. We've got a exhaustive search on all the ways you can deal with baggage fees, what they cost, what you have to be aware of, size-wise, poundage-wise, and all the things with baggage or luggage, however you would call it, carry-ons, and some tips. We're going to have that all on next week's show. But this week, we're talking about the airlines raising fees. And if you think about it, this all stems from the pandemic. When before the pandemic, Paul, you remember that the airlines charged $200 change fees for tickets.
For domestic tickets.
Yeah, the pandemic threw that out the window because nobody's going to book a ticket if
they don't know if they're going to be able to travel.
Yeah. So they threw that out, and then they came back in with these baggage fees, and because they couldn't generate the billions they got off of those change fees. Now, once again, there's Southwest Airlines. Bags fly free, right? So they're riding this pony all the way to the circus and saying, hey, we're going to have fun. And it's literally been a competitive advantage over the other major airlines, don't you think?
Southwest has made some really wise moves over the last couple of years and kind of countering what American Airlines and their approach has been. So, you know, it is going to be interesting to see. You've got the big three, and then there was always number 4 was Southwest. Southwest gained some traction in this thing and potentially jump over somebody else.
If they'd only get seat assignments and first
That's
class,
my,
you and I,
that's my, I won't do it because I can't not know that I'm going to be sitting on the aisle.
So that's the number 3 headline for the week was about baggage fees. Number 4 headline for this week is Las Vegas is rolling out the red carpet for dogs that visit Glitter Gulch. Paul, there's money in pets.
There's lots of money in
travel.
pets.
And what you're seeing is Las Vegas is saying, hey, people want to bring their pets to Las Vegas. Let's make it easy for them. So now they've got rooms, special rooms. Caesar Palace has food mats, pee pads, waste bags, treats, and doggy dishes. They've even got maps to show you where to walk your dog. Now, here's what they're doing. They're charging $25 to $100 a night. So you go there for 4 nights, you might pay $400 to put your dog there.
Really, boarding costs more than that a lot of
I never
times.
thought
So,
of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
in the long run, if you're a pet person and you would rather have your experience be with your dog rather than leaving your dog someplace where, you know, you don't know if they're being taken care of or neglected or whatever it may be, it may be a break even at the end of the day.
You know, I love animals. I grew up on a farm, had a dog since I was probably 5 years old. So I love animals and dogs. The only thing is when I go on a vacation or business meeting, I don't want to have to fight pets in the lobby of a hotel or have to worry about them being on the carpet. I was at a Ritz-Carlton down in Florida once, and there the dogs were going on the carpet.
In the airport just last week, I got off a plane, walk up to the top of the jetway, and there's a dog right there just peeing on the floor. So it's a great welcome to that airport.
Yeah, so there's got to be a balance. I think the key is to have a balance. Some airlines will take certain size pets. United seems to be pretty aggressive. They charge you $100 each way to take your pet, and they'll take some bigger pets, whereas you got to, you know, some of the larger ones, they don't. There's some pets that I've seen on planes that are very well behaved. You know, it's almost like they know the routine, and I don't have a problem with that. But when they're yipping and yapping and
There have also been people that have been removed from flights because of their pets.
Yeah.
And that was just a recent situation that came up within the last couple of weeks, to where the animal wasn't controlled to the point that they were able to let the person travel with it.
once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the weekly travel alert. Every Tuesday at 10:30, we send out 100,000 emails to people that want to receive our weekly travel alert. We've been doing this now for over 30 years. Our company's been around for 38 years. We're entering our 38th year this year on the Executive Travel. You can visit us at executivetravel.com. Pick up the phone and call us at 402-435-8888. We just started a radio program every Saturday at 10 o'clock on 1400 99.3 KLIN radio in Lincoln,
Based out of Lincoln, Nebraska,
Lincoln, Nebraska.
but you can stream it online.
All
so
right.
if you're not here local, you can still track us down.
You can find us, and we started this 1 hour long radio show. Of course, with all the commercials, we only go about 39 minutes or something, don't we? So we are having a lot of fun with that. A lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk about travel. We love to talk about Husker football and travel.
And now Husker basketball.
And Husker basketball. So with that, I'd like to share with you the next headline in this week's Weekly Travel Alert, which reads, "Is travel to Europe going to slow down this year?" And, I thought that we'd see a little bit of a recession with the high interest rates and all that. But, Paul, I'm reading the press, talking to the experts, and they're saying they're going full blazes. They think we're going to have a busy year, similar to last year, where Europe was full everywhere. I know you're going to Scandinavia, and Scandinavia is already full.
Yeah.
You can't get hotels in Scandinavia, ladies and gentlemen. So I think it's going to be a busy year.
Yeah, no, I think the airlines, what they're doing, the actions they're taking, it seems like every day log into emails and all I'm seeing are announcements for new routes that are being added. So that would say that the airlines are seeing it and trying to figure out how they can maximize their return. So they're moving their planes to meet the needs for Europe this summer.
Well, and we've seen it starting like March 7th. I saw United's adding a direct flight from Chicago to Rome. Now they go Newark to Rome, Chicago to Rome, San Francisco to Rome. I mean, they're adding all these flights into Europe and then places that you never think they would go. United flies into Naples, Italy now, coming up this summer. I mean, I would have never thought they'd travel there. And then Delta's added a whole bunch of flights, as is American, into Europe. And then just this last week, I noticed that United is announcing flights into Beijing.
Asia's opening back up.
In
Yep.
Shanghai.
Yep.
And so China's starting to open up finally, and Japan is starting to open up. So if people want to travel, there's going to be flights around the world. And I was quite frankly hoping it would moderate so we could find cheaper business class seats or coach class seats. But we were talking about this morning on the radio show, that the flights are starting to stair step up in price.
We're getting the summer pricing.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so we saw after the first week of May that $800 to $1,000 round trip coach fare to Europe is doubling.
1,500, 1,600. Yep.
So
lock it in now.
yeah, you better get going. And if you can go in March or in April, you're going to find great fares still into Europe. And quite frankly, I've become a shoulder person and even a winter person traveler to Europe.
I don't mind being able to layer up. It's one of those things where you can always put more clothes on to make yourself comfortable. There's only so many clothes you can take off before you're not welcome. So, yeah, I think it's one where going in the shoulder season, your crowds are lighter, your value's going to be better, and really I don't know what the downfall is going to be, because I think you can squeeze twice as much in when you're not dealing with the crowds.
Great. Well, and I think I'm looking forward to traveling this summer again, especially more this spring, and then summer a little bit, then back at it in the fall into Europe. And I think I have to sneak over. You and I are going to Turkey.
Yeah, in April.
In April, so we get to enjoy Turkey with
take some clients with us, explore. And that's Turkish Air is helping us out with that effort. And that's one we've talked about Turkish a little bit, but they're a great carrier to be able to get some good values on. But it's a great way to get to Europe going through Istanbul, and they offer some packages where they can include some tours if you've got business class flights and
free
things.
stopover.
Free stopover in Istanbul, yeah.
Yeah. So with that, in the coming weeks, we're going to share with you some great news that we have about traveling into Italy. And then also in future weeks, we're going to talk more about packing and how to lower the cost related to baggage and luggage fees. We also want to end today's session saying, Paul, several weeks ago, I did an interview with Ann Philby Olson on the Women of the Midwest. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the women-only tours that are going on there. And that's been our #1 rated podcast.
From our first episode, one of the responses from a good friend of mine is that we needed some better looking models for this thing. So we finally get a female on here, and it takes off as our #1.
And the meter goes up, right? Yeah. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for Executive Travel's Weekly Travel Alert. Every week we get it come to you. Be sure if you can check out our new radio program, 1400 99.3 KLIN Radio, and you can check. We'll load that up on our website.
Yeah, we'll get it up there.
And put it up there once again. Paul, you might tell them where we need to share us and like us and all that stuff.
Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, share, and add any comments or questions in the notes below so we can cover the topics you would like us to hit on in future episodes. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.